What's up, y'all? I'm back out here on the range on another chilly morning. Temps are actually supposed to get up into the mid 60s or so today, so it should be a really nice day to do some testing. Real quick, before we get started out here today, I want to give a big thanks to all of y'all out there for watching and subscribing to the channel. We just passed over 100,000 subscribers, if y'all not aware, so again, huge thank you to y'all for that. But I definitely ain't slowing down no time soon. I've got a few good tests planned for today, and we're gonna start things out with a little 10 mil. So I got the jelly contraption ready to roll out here with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. First test of the day on these, so y'all know we get a nice clear picture on this one here. Of course, as always, I'm using that heavy clothing barrier that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is some more 10 mil that was sent to me by Dimitri. So once again, big thank you to him for that. He's the same one that sent the 180 grain Hornady custom that I tested a couple weeks ago. That stuff didn't do bad by any means, but for a 10 mil, in my opinion, just way too soft loaded. But maybe we'll see something a little better out here today. This time we've got the Hornady custom again, but it's the 155 grain XTP again. Now this one is saying 1410 feet per second. That's out of a 5-inch barrel. I did look that up. Now we're not testing out of a 5-inch today. I'm going to do a follow-up test with my G20, but today we're just going with the shorty barrel, so definitely don't expect that. Now what I'm going to do, instead of going with the 2 different barrels for this one, I'm going to compare this against the 155 grain Underwood. In my opinion, y'all know how I feel about this 155 Underwood. It is some fantastic stuff. Probably one of my top 2 10 mil carry rounds. Now it'll be interesting on this right here to see they're claiming 1500 feet per second on the box. Now again, that's from a longer barrel, and this is a new lot number from what I've tested in the past, different packaging and everything. This is new production stuff. Now in the past, when I've tested it out of their original gray style box, out of this G29, I got an average of 1373 with this 155 Underwood. So 1373 out of a G29 is really nice. So I'm hoping to get somewhere around that with this Hornady custom. Here's a look at both cartridges, nickel plated on the Underwood, just plain brass on the Hornady custom. Both of them have the XTP projectile, so same exact projectile here. The only difference is going to be the loading. And also I've noticed here, I didn't realize, but Hornady uses small primers in their 10 mil. Apparently you can see this has got a small primer where the Underwood has a large primer. I think the only other 10 mil that I know straight off the top of my head that uses the small primer is Blazer. There are probably some more out there, and y'all may be asking, is that a big deal? Yeah, I guess it really just depends on who you ask there. As far as, definitely reloaders aren't real crazy about small primer 10 mil just because of brass, having to separate the different brass and all. But as far as performance differences, you're probably going to have several different people with several different opinions as far as that goes. Now again, like I mentioned on this one, we're using the shorty barrel here, the G29 with its 3.8-inch barrel. So this should be a pretty interesting comparison. I'm really hoping that Underwood is still up there where it was when I tested it with the older lot numbers. As far as this Hornady custom, I mean, I don't expect the best from this stuff. I expect it to be light loaded just like the 180 was, but maybe I'll be wrong. Let's get it all set up and see what it can do. All right, let's see what kind of velocity we can get from these things. I'm gonna do a 5-round average on both of them, starting with this Hornady custom first. Now remember, the box on this is saying 1410, which we definitely won't see that out of this right here. But then also keep in mind that Underwood previous that I'm getting ready to test, the previous lot was 1370 something average. So that's about what I'm looking for, at least 1300 I would want out of this right here. Now, if y'all not familiar with this lab radar, you're gonna see multiple velocity readings. The large one's right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the other set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. So let's see what we can get here from the Hornady custom. Again, I'm really hoping to at least see 1300. 1269, 1270, 1273, 1259, and 1241. So not what I was hoping for. That's gonna put us, I mean, I hope that's probably barely above 500. Let me see what the average was. All right, so this is kind of shaping up to be a performance repeat of the 180s. A 5-round average there was 1263 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 32 with a 13.2 standard deviation. 1263, I think 1200's around 500 foot-pounds, so that's probably gonna be close to 550. So not bad performance at all, but not what I want from 10 mil. Now I will say pretty mild recoil on that and not a very loud report at all. So it's got that going for it. Let's get this Underwood in there and see what it can do. All right, let's see what we get from this Underwood. I'm really hoping this stuff holds up to what it's done in the past. Again, the last time I tested this, we had an average out of this 29 of 1373. So I'm really hoping it's above 1300 for sure. If not, that's a shame. Ooh, that's stronger for sure. 1384. I mean, no doubt, baby. 1359. 1340. 1336. They dropped down on me though, starting there, we'll jump back up, and 1374. I mean, the very first round, you could immediately tell the difference here. Now, I'm sure there's some recoil more, but I mean, it's really not noticeable when you're talking about 155 grain 10 mil anyway. They're all going to be close to the same. I will say though, definitely a louder report out of this. Well, let's check out what the average was. All right, this is definitely more like it. We had a 1359 5-round average. Extreme spread was 47 with a 20.7 standard deviation. So 1359 is definitely more like it. That's going to be well over 600 foot-pounds. That's more like where I want my 10 mil to be. But 1359 here, and if you remember on the custom, it was 1263. So you're talking about close to 100 feet per second, 96 feet per second difference. So with the same, exactly same projectile, not just the same weight projectile, but the exact same projectile made by Hornady. So, I mean, you tell me, what's Hornady doing over there loading that stuff this light? Now, all that being said, I really don't have any doubt that both of these are going to do a really nice job in the gel. Well, let's get this stuff set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's when it comes to custom, they need to adjust them jelly time. I'm going to put one of each into the gel, starting with this Hornady custom first. If I was guessing, I think both of these are going to be really, really similar in the gel, probably 15 to 17 inches and some really good expansion to go with it. All right, boy, that took a downward trajectory for sure. Let me go check it out. All right, not really what I expected to see right there. That got way less expansion than I was expecting, which gave us more penetration, obviously. So let's see what happens here. I think with this extra velocity, there ain't gonna be no issue. I think that stuff just needs a little bit more than that Hornady's giving it. All right, that one definitely went where I wanted it. Let me go see what we got. All right, let's check out what we got down here with these, y'all. That Underwood in the back is gonna be a little hard to see until I pick you up. It went behind this other one. You can see it, I got you kind of low so you can see behind it, but it went behind and then came out up above. But really what happened here was kind of what I expected, I guess. I was hoping that this custom would do better than this. And really, I actually kind of expected it to do better than this. There's really no excuse for that right there. As you can see, this is the custom right here in the top in the front. Very nice disruption here. I mean, it's a 155 grain piece of lead moving pretty doggone quick. All the way through this first block. Very nice disruption. Into the second block. Now here, it dumped a bunch of cloth. So I'm guessing what happened here is it got clogged with that cloth and just lacking that little bit of velocity didn't let it throw it out until the end here. So dumped that cloth out and then it kept going. I mean, it's a good 5, maybe 6 inches, maybe more than that, into this second block, and very, very little expansion. You got a few petals on the other side that looks like they peel back, but really nothing much on this side. And then the Underwood behind that's a totally different story. As far as the disruption, again, fantastic. You can tell, comes in here, immediate expansion, very, very nice disruption. Again, all the way through this first block, and then this one pokes into this second block, maybe about an inch, and it has some really, really nice expansion. So that little bit of extra velocity is absolutely what made the difference here. But as far as the penetration on them, the Hornady Custom is all the way out here to 24 inches of penetration. And that's again because it got very, very little expansion. Your Underwood is exactly 17 inches and massive expansion right there. So perfect performance from that Underwood. And then here's your closer look again in the front on the top there. That's the Custom. Like I say, very nice disruption all the way through the this gel. Don't get me wrong, it would get some kind of job done. It just did not behave like it was supposed to. You can see into this second block, and you can see, look at all that cloth it finally dumped out there, and there you can see the projectile, just very little expansion. But then if we go back to the Underwood, again, it's below it and behind it, and then if we come up here, there you can see it traveling on, keeps on going into the second block. And there you see the projectile from it. Very, very nice expansion. And then here's your look from the top. From this view, you can tell that that Underwood that actually expanded definitely got some more disruption. Follow them on through here. Both of them look really nice though, don't get me wrong. There's the Underwood, keep on trucking, and there's that Hornady Custom. All right, let's check out these projectiles. Huge performance difference right here, as you can see. And keep in mind, these are the exact same projectile, exactly the same. Both of them XTP 155 grain, but you can see just a massive difference that little extra velocity gives you here. That one right here, obviously, is the Underwood. As you can see, very, very nice expansion, really, really nice even expansion. And then, of course, this is the Hornady Custom. You can see you peeled a few petals back there, but really not a whole lot at all. But let's get some measurements and see what we got. They both started at 155. This one here, the Hornady Custom, is actually at 153.6, so maybe lost a little, maybe just manufacturing tolerances. This Underwood is at 153.8, so maybe a little loss there as well. Could just be manufacturing tolerances from Hornady. And then as far as the size, you're going to see quite a bit of difference here. On this Hornady Custom, you got 428 and 482, so not a whole lot going on there. And in the Underwood here, you got 570 and 575, so really nice even expansion from that one. And there you go, y'all, a little 10 mil 155 grain showdown, both using XTPs, and no surprise, the Underwood load did better than Hornady, which actually makes the projectile. Hornady and their XTP kind of reminds me of Spear with their gold dot in that way, that most people who use their projectiles load them better and hotter than they do for whatever reason, whether they're trying to stay in some kind of parameters for Leo use or whatever the case. Generally speaking, other companies load their projectiles better than them. Now again, if you put these in the right place, even these Hornady Customs, they're more than likely going to get the job done. That was really nice performance inside the gel, but you're just not getting what you pay for. That's the problem here. And in fact, the Underwood is probably less if you can get it locally. So if we're picking a winner on this one right here, I think that's a pretty easy decision. The Underwood absolutely takes the win. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for another 10 mil light test. Not really a surprise here as far as the velocity and energy. I expected them to be loaded light just because of the 180. As far as the expansion in the gel though, I am a little surprised at that right there. I didn't figure being 10 mil and moving 1200 like that. It was actually at the upper end of its average, like 1260, I believe. I expected it to expand well, but as you can see, it just needed that little bit of extra velocity to get that cloth out of the way and do what it's supposed to do. Now, like I said this time, and like I've said plenty of times in the past, if you put this stuff in the right place, it's more than likely going to get the job done, but it's just not what you're expecting. Now, in the case of this Hornady Custom, I guess we can give it the benefit of the doubt, or just give it the excuse, if you will, that it's meant to go out of a 5-inch barrel. So fine, they're not claiming, as far as any kind of sight or on the box or anything, they're not claiming any kind of performance out of a short barrel like this. So I guess you really can't say you didn't get what you paid for, but putting it up beside this Underwood, which is also tested out of a longer barrel, I mean, you can plainly see the difference. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this right here. Any of y'all out there run this Hornady Custom? Is this what you expected to see from it? Do you run the Underwood? If you had to choose between one of these two, which one would you run? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Big thanks as always to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all supporting the channel on the way to 100K. I've got tons more good stuff on the way, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.